Welcome back, CFR Network, Shalom Balance Paradise. Good day, good night, all. Back in the lab, working diligently and hard as usual. I've crossed the pond this time. I haven't kept the build locally, and I've got some feminine energy with me. I welcome a pioneer, a legend, an undefeated kickboxing champion, first African American female to do the damn thing. Fredia Gibbs, Cheeta, welcome to the broadcast. What it do, C-Star?
Noble, thank you so very much for having me, champ. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
You're very much welcome. You're very much welcome. Long overdue. And let's
True.
just start it off. For my sins, I should say, I had no idea about your legacy, your history, your story until a very good brethren of mine
Uh-huh.
sent me that 9 minute plus clip,
Right.
and that just blew it. That blew it out the water for me. I was like, who is this C-Star? Why isn't she everywhere? Why isn't she up there as the pound for pound great? You know, when we talk about combat sports and mixed martial arts, we talk about Gina Carrera, we talk about Chris Cyborg, we're now talking about Amanda Nunes. We go
Right.
into the boxing realm, you know, we can talk about Layla Ali and etc. Clarissa Shields now going into MMA.
Yep.
Where's Cheetah?
Yeah. Been there all the time.
All that damn time, no one even saying, look, you know, I'm doing my thing, but look, wait, you know, not too long back, we had someone do the damn thing, undefeated kickboxer, was brought in as like basically like a, you know, a kickbag of sorts, like not supposed to win the damn thing,
Underdog.
you know, and does it. So
You know,
honors,
yeah.
I can't say enough, man. I can't say enough. I'm really truly appreciative of all your hard work, your story, um, the legacy that you have, and we just want to unpack it. We want to go deep into the minor Cheetah, and you know, unpack some of them layers, get to understand, overstand, and understand who you are, how you got there, what the journey was, um, in the hopes of one, inspiring, entertaining, and bringing forth education.
Sounds like
So,
fun.
yes, indeed. So everybody strap in. It's going to be a an interesting ride that we're going to be going on real soon.
Uh-oh.
Um, indeed. So before we even get into that, dear,
Yes.
2020 was a tumultuous year. I refer to it as a zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
How has that year been for you? How have you existed and coped through that tumultuous period?
Took it one day at a time. Took everything very seriously. From the release of the pandemic, once it hit America, once China, it affected China, and China was warning the entire world that it was coming. I took that very seriously before it even arrived here in America. But you know what? Just to see over 400 or 500,000 people who have actually passed away as a result of the coronavirus, it's kind of devastating. It's devastating. It's very sad. This is really a moment where everybody really needs to come together because it's a matter of life and death. You
Mhm.
dig? You dig?
For
And
sure.
that's for everyone because the coronavirus does not discriminate. It has not been discriminating. It making sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as far as me personally, like I said, I've been taking it one day at a time. Actually, I just lost my baby sister from the coronavirus, December the 2nd. My
Rise in
only sister.
paradise. Rise
Yeah,
in
my
paradise
only
to your
sister.
sister.
It was unbelievable. And, so I'm taking that seriously. I just want to live.
Yes. Well,
You
of course.
dig?
Listen, sis.
Huh?
Everybody
Yeah.
who you know,
Yeah.
mankind,
Yeah.
humanity. That is an
Yeah.
innate, you know,
Right.
trait that we all have is self-preservation and wanting to
Right.
live. Of course.
So, I'm taking everything seriously. I'm wearing my face mask. If you ask now, Noble, so I'm telling you, I'm wearing my face mask. I'm making sure I stay 6 feet away.
Hmm.
I'm making sure I stay away from crowds,
Hmm.
et cetera, just for now until they get control of things. But I'm obeying to answer your question. Overall, I've come from nothing, so I know how to deal with adapt to nothing. That
Hmm.
makes sense. Uh,
100%.
yes. So just to keep it real with you, and that's one thing I'm gonna always do. So yeah, I've adapted. 2020 has not been that bad of a year, despite the fact that there's been a crash and everything for me. But on a spiritual level, it has not been that bad of a year. Just saying.
Okay.
How
So
about yourself?
well, before I answer that, let's can you try to paint a vivid picture in regards to your spiritual fortification?
Oh, geez, it's gonna take a while, man. It's
Woo,
not, this.
listen.
It took years to develop this.
Hmm.
That makes sense from a
Yep.
from a young child, because you got to understand, we're all spirits.
Yep.
All of us walk around here with a coat on us, but we're
Exactly.
all spirit, a burst of energy with a coat on us. Reality. Okay.
Agreed. Agreed.
Reality is we all have a journey here while we're here. Reality is it's important that we accomplish our journey while we're here, because reality is we're all here temporary, but we all have an assignment.
Exactly. Exactly. I like where you're going with this, sis.
Am I making sense to you, Chance? We all do, champ. It's just real. Okay. And we have to, and God has blessed each and every last one of his energies with a gift.
Hmm.
And it is so important that we accomplish our journey, our missions while we're here. You dig? Now that's where choice comes in. You dig?
Yep.
Choice comes in because we've been given it is written that we've been given the opportunity to make a choice, and we have a choice to either do good
Hmm.
or do bad.
Yes.
Okay? That's the choice that we have. And that goes all the way back to, they say, the garden when Eve and Adam had that little situation with the Adam and the
Hmm.
apple and the snake.
Yep.
Choice.
Hmm.
From day one, it's about choice. Okay. Now, you have a gift. It's important for you and each and every last one of us to utilize the gift that we've made in God, and it's up to us to make the choice to stay in the area in which we know that we're going to specialize in this gift and masterify it, and that way we're able to financially benefit from the reward and spread the gift on to other people.
Mm. Facts.
Did that make sense to you, champ?
That's supreme truth right there, C Star. Understand, overstand, and understand. Thank you, just said right there.
And that's each and every last one of us. But listen, a lot of us, when we're here on this planet, and this is just a true story, because I kind of had to figure it out,
Mm.
because I had to figure it out, and I figured it out early when I first met my grandmother from the late 1800s,
Ooh,
and
yes.
she had put some wisdom. I only knew her for a few years, but those few years I spent an enormous amount of time with her. And she actually spit some serious knowledge into my empty cup, my spirit as a young child.
Hmm.
I never forgot it. You understand? And what I do know is that the journey that we have here from the gift that we utilize that God has given us,
Mm.
it's important that we utilize it, but it doesn't stop here.
Nope.
You dig? And that's for all of us. It doesn't stop here. We all have a race to win. So what's your ultimate goal when you leave here? Or what's your ultimate goal when you get to the gates of heaven? What are your
Mm.
ultimate goals? Because that's where it actually ends. It starts there.
Listen, sis, and not even just that, not even just that. It's your
Huh?
book of life when you get up there to those pearly gates, as they refer to, and you sit down there with the Most High, and He goes through your book of life and says, "Okay, explain this to me."
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
everything is
You know,
recorded, sis.
right? Now you had a choice, Noble or Cheetah or whomever world, to go this direction because I had a plan for you. Why did you go that direction?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then come back this way. You took the long way when you could have took the short way.
Yes.
So basically, we all have a race to win, champ. And I can tell you about this poem called "Ain't No Stopping Me Now" that my mother wrote for me. And I always share it with everyone. But ultimately, we all have a race to win. and my goal is to win my race. But my race is, and I know this sounds, I'm just deeply spiritual.
Hmm.
My race is as a spirit, because we all are that ultimately, is to be on the right side of God and to be one of his fighting warriors. So when he asks me to come down here and fight and defend or help or protect or guide someone, that is my duty. That's my ultimate goal, champ.
Hmm.
Because that's where it all ends in the begin. And
Yep.
actually, that's where it begins and then it ends and then it begins. So ultimately, interesting, huh? What you
Each
think?
one teach 12. And I'll just reiterate that supreme truth right there.
Yeah.
People are short on of their purpose, and
Uh
some
huh.
people don't know their purpose. As you say, some for yourself,
Yeah.
you've been on this journey, and you've kind of, your grandmother, Rising Paradise, gave you a spiritual foundation within that empty vessel of yours, and you've been through progressively through your life,
Yeah.
adding to that through the experiences, through the trials, the tribulations, the joys, the success, and everything in between, to make the
Yes.
person, the character you are today.
Yes. Yes. The spirit that I am today, because we're all spirits and we got to grow as spirits.
Mm,
You dig? So, yes, that's it.
factual, absolutely
Yeah.
factual.
Yeah.
Um, to your question, 2020 has been for myself
Uh
a
huh.
bit cliche of sorts. I even hate even
Okay.
saying this, an
Uh huh.
awakening. Not so much to on a spiritual level, because I've been on this journey for quite some
Uh huh.
time.
Okay.
Um, in regards to the circle that surrounds me, my inner circle, my friends, my associates, just really taking this opportunity to sit back and think, who do I actually need in my life? Who's providing and giving me, um, and challenging me, or is it
Right.
just a take? Am I providing all of the love and the knowledge and all the tools, and there's no fair exchange?
Uh huh.
I'm sort of establishing and drawing those lines and thinking, well, maybe it's time that that person, and this is where it comes to the saying, reason and season, and people coming into your time and into your life for a
Uh huh.
reason,
Uh huh.
but it's
Uh
only
huh.
for the season.
Right.
And I find it difficult when I establish bonds with people to
Right.
withdraw. So that's been for 2020 for me.
Right.
It's been a time for me to sit back, remove some of those bonds, or not even so much remove, but just emotionally let go until it's time to
Right.
reestablish that seasonal reason again. And then, very lastly, me and the Empress, we like to travel. We like to get
That's
our
awesome.
melanin download and all that. Yeah, you know, get the
Awesome.
melanocytes
Uh huh.
recharged. Being
You
obviously
have
over
to.
here in the cold region of Birmingham, England. So we have been unable to get on a jumbo plane and go to the Caribbean, or even go to mainland Europe, Spain potentially, and get
Mm.
some damn sun.
Right.
So for me, and I guess a lot of people, that has been a challenge to say the least.
To feel imprisoned, huh?
This is it. This is it. I mean, England is a beautiful place, but it's as cold as hell, man. Especially
Yeah.
around these kind of times. you know,
Does it rain? Does it rain a lot there as well?
it rains like you wouldn't believe. It's
Yeah.
if it's not raining, it's just dreary and overcast. It's grey until we get spark. Like today, I tell you what, sis, it was -6 today, real feel.
Oh, cow.
But it was bright. We had blue skies and all that there.
Mhm.
So, mm, we just gotta roll with it,
Wow.
man.
Yeah, yeah, you do. I gotta tell you, I've been over there 3 times. I'm trying to figure out exactly where, but I've been there 3 times, and each time I was there, it rained. That's
Mm,
all I gotta say. Each time it's beautiful, but it rained. So that's why I asked that question.
that's usually a telltale sign when we're coming back on the plane, when we start to see the rain hit the window, and we're like, oh, we're back in England.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, but it's snowing now, and I bet it's gorgeous. You got to send some photos or post some photos or something like that.
Oh yes, yes, we had a big dump in the snow and stuff, and luckily it hasn't been too tumultuous driving
Uh-huh.
around and stuff because
Uh-huh.
England isn't the best for maintaining the roads and stuff when
Right?
the gritters are supposed to be around. But as I say, luckily it hasn't been too bad, and as you say, it's been quite picturesque nature-wise and seeing the snow and stuff. So yes,
Yeah,
I shall
that's
definitely
awesome.
take some snaps.
That's awesome. Definitely, I would love to see him. So,
Indeed.
what else we got going on here?
So we're gonna jump into the DeLorean with Scotty and Doc, and we're gonna go back in time now, sis.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So what year are we hitting on the dial? Where are we going back to? Where are we gonna start this journey off from?
Geez. Well, you saw the video. Where do you want to start? You tell me.
Okay, all right then. Let's go back. Born and raised, what states were you at?
Okay, wow. Wow. Okay,
Mm,
well, as I share with you, I was born and raised in Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm.
and a small town called Chester. They said it's not suburban, so let me correct myself. It's a small ghetto,
Okay.
5 mile ghetto. Because
Mm,
really it is. It has four projects or 5 miles. They got 4 or 5 projects in it. Okay.
mm.
So it's a 5 mile radius. I grew up there, but there's a lot of talent there. You
Oh,
did.
yes. And within that challenging environment,
Mhm.
you can either trip and fall, or you can be that rose that grew through the concrete. So how
Strong
was
survive,
wow, exactly, exactly.
you
Um,
know?
what was it
No
like
doubt.
for you at that time? Because we're talking 70s, right? 70s?
Yeah, that was yep, 70, 80s, because I graduated in 81. Yeah, so it was in the 70s. I was 60s, 70s, 80s.
And
Imagine 60s, 70s, 80s. Come on.
mm, very different
Yeah,
time, especially in the Americas.
exactly.
So what was it like? Was it predominantly black, this Chester?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Actually, I lived a double life. I tell everyone I lived a double life. On my mother's side, it was just totally ghetto hood. You know what I mean? And on my father's side, everybody was educated, college degrees. And houses built from the ground up. Got and married with 2 kids, and that's
Wow.
just the way it's been. So that's what I mean by choice, because I had a choice, and what I learned was just a gift. That's my balance. That's who I am.
Mm. And as you say, key thing is the balance you had. You grew up in a quote unquote ghetto impoverished area, but
Yeah,
you had opportunities to see the quote unquote normality of the 2.5 children with a degree of or modicum of success, should we say?
exactly, exactly, exactly. And that goes back to me telling you about my late grandmother on my father's side, who was born in the late 1800s. She was the first one in our family to get a degree
Wow.
in the late 1800s. And then my father's mother, who was born in 1916, I talk about her throughout the movie, the short documentary. She was born in 1916, so she filled me in spiritually as well. And then my
Mm.
mom was born in 1944, so they filled me in with a lot of spirituality. But
100.
my spirituality goes way back from the late 1800s. And
Mm.
I really truly don't believe they make them spiritually like me anymore.
Oh no, 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 definitely not. Definitely not. What type of on a were we Baptist? Like what was the denomination?
I believe it was Baptist. How about yourself, champ? Are you spiritual? I know you're spiritual, but do you go to church? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't go to church,
Well,
but I'm extremely
well,
spiritual.
as you already know, I can kind of, light attracts light, as you already know. So
Right.
when two or more are gathered in my name, that is
Yeah.
church.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So the physical building thing, mm-mm. But I was raised a Roman Catholic.
Uh huh.
Did the Holy Communion dying and the confirmation dying.
Mm,
Um, and through life, I rejected the Bible growing up
mhm.
and the teachings based upon the Roman Catholic structure. Because basically, if you're unaware of, and some people who are Roman Catholics might say, no, that's not how it is, but I'm just telling you my experience. We were basically taught to worship saints and Mary rather than the Creator, the Most High, and his son Yeshua HaMashiach, which the world
Uh-huh.
refers to as Jesus.
Right.
So I went through that phase, as I say, through
Right.
Catholicism, and
Yeah.
you know, then as a young adult, started to search and think, w- what's the purpose? What is, as we're talking about purpose, you know,
Mhm.
what is my purpose? What
Right.
should I be doing? My
Yeah.
family are, they go to church and stuff, so I started looking at the various denominations and their history. Then I started looking at the various world religions. And after doing I would say about 3-4 years study, we went 365 or sorry, 180.
Uh-huh.
And we went right back and picked back the Bible again. He only left you basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Right.
And rather than listening to man's traditions and man's customs and man's interpretation, I read it for as it was written. And at that point, I read the story, felt the history, understood, understood, and overstood. And I will not say the whole entirety of the
Uh-huh.
Bible,
Uh-huh.
um, but the concepts, the essence, and the idea, the
Got
people,
it.
the promises, the gifts, the curses, the laws, the dietary laws, how to interact with each other as neighbors, love thy
Uh-huh.
neighbor as you love thyself.
Uh-huh.
So these are the principles that I now embody.
That is so awesome. Let me ask you a question. And that is a lot. That's called spiritual growth that you've actually, provided yourself with. Let me ask you a question, Noble. Have you had the opportunity to check out the chapter called Proverbs?
Oh
Read
yes,
them. You read that whole chapter?
yes,
Isn't that
powerful,
amazing? Yes, yes,
powerful.
yes. That my grandma told that about that chapter, and I took that to college, and I read that like 10 times.
Hmm.
Help you as far as life and how to handle and deal with people. Amazing, huh?
Very much so. And this is the thing. This is what people fail to realize. They'll say, the Holy Bible, it's fairy tales. What can that do for you today? But as I equate with the acronym, he only left you holy Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. So
That's right.
this is an individual thing, as you
That's right.
alluded to. It's
It
the
is.
spirit within inside of the the cloth within the outside of the shell.
Yep.
You have a specific journey. You have a specific purpose. So it's about you. Now, let's go back to the olden days of sorts.
It's
You'd buy a
all of
piece
us.
of technology, and what would you
Right.
do? It'd come with a manual, right?
Right.
And before you'd plug it in and you'd go through the manual and you'd read it, okay, this does that, that does that. So as human beings and as mankind, where is our manual?
Mm-hmm.
I know that manual is the Holy Bible.
That's it. That's it. That's our blueprint. That's what
Hmm.
my grandmother taught me. That Bible is our blueprint. You want the answer? Go to the Bible. That's the way I was raised.
Yes.
You dig?
Any questions you have, as you say, you can consult that there and you receive the
Yeah.
wisdom, whether it's directly or if it's divinely inspired, but you'll get that there if you truly want it.
You
Seek
want
and
the
ye shall
answer?
find.
Pray on it.
Mm,
Pray on it. Exactly. Pray. You want the answer? Pray on it. And like you just said, seek you shall find. That's what it's written. Knock, seek, and find. Knock, the door shall be open. Seek, ask, you shall receive. Right? Seek,
yes.
you shall find. Knock, the door shall be open.
Hmm.
It's written, and
Faith
it.
without works is a death.
Yeah.
So we can't just be talking about, oh, I'm just going to wait on God. Of course, the Most High, he's the controller and ruler and operator of this thing. But without you physically putting the work into to make that, the one on one which equals two, it's kind of, we can't just do that. We've got to put the works in. We've got to show and
You're right.
prove.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you got to put the work in. So the bottom line is when you ask for it, get yourself on that path and get with the right people in order to help you make it happen. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Don't ask for it, just sit there and wait. It
E-
ain't gonna
ex-
happen.
this is it. This is it. You've got to get out and do it. Like if you want to eat something, what do? You
Yeah.
go and prepare the food, cook it if it's warm,
Right.
and you eat it after. It's as simple as that. But through society, through media manipulation, through the powers that shouldn't be, they're taking us away from the essence of, as you've alluded to, your grandmother's generation, um, of being
Yeah.
not so caught up in the world, not being worldly, being
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with having nice things. Look, I'm not saying that.
Right.
But when you put that above your fellow man, your fellow woman, above your family, above your friends, that's where it becomes an issue. Money is a means of exchange, and the exchange gives you access to experiences, because life is what? One big experience, right?
That's all it is, and it's temporary for all of us.
Very temporary. And let's look at the let's look at it life from a dimensional standpoint. We live in a three-dimensional realm, right?
Oh yeah.
So surely there's a fourth dimension, a fifth dimension, a 25 dimension, but currently in our three-dimensional realm, and all of these things are still operating around us, we don't see it.
Some of us do though.
Well, okay.
And let me share this with you. I do. I was born with skin. This is what I tell people. I was born with skin on my eyes. You understand? So
Mhm.
they call that a veil. And that
Okay.
kind of surprised me when my mother gave me my scrapbook and they had that little skin there, etc.
Hmm.
And that's when they informed me, my mom, my grandma. So a lot of us don't see it. But that, again, it goes back to the book, the
Hmm.
Bible,
Hmm.
our blueprint. We can call it our blueprint. We can call it the Bible. But the bottom line is, you know, he said he gave us eyes so we can see.
Hmm.
You dig? He gave us ears so we can hear him. You dig?
Exactly.
He gave us a mouth so that we can speak his word, which is his power. Am
Hmm.
I making sense to you? And he
1000.
gave us, senses so that we can smell the truth and smell the enemy and our
Mm,
energy. That makes sense?
1000.
Huh?
1000, sis.
Yeah. So but that's where we got to pay attention. That's where we have to see. Because a lot of people, what I observed when I went back to Pennsylvania for 2 years, and I hadn't been back there Noble in a long time, but I decided to go back there. I listened to God and I went back. I didn't understand why, but
Mhm.
I did. Okay, and I'm glad I did. And what I observed, there are a lot of people walking around here and they look like zombies.
Oh yeah, sis. It's not just in It's not just in Pennsylvania.
Really?
This is unfortunately, sis. This is a global thing. This is a global thing. When I go back
Yeah.
to some of work purposes, or if it's just for leisure, when I go back to some of the areas that I grew up in,
Uh-huh.
number one, the dimension of the area. So as yourself, I grew up in a predominantly black area,
Right.
quote unquote ghetto. And you go there now, it's still a quote unquote ghetto, but it's not no longer a predominantly black neighborhood. It's filled with all types of different people, with all
Right.
types of
It's
nastiness. That
diverse now.
it's and listen, there's nothing wrong with diversity.
No,
Nothing wrong
no,
with it
no.
at all. You
No, no,
know,
no. God created it. You
This
know?
is it. This is it. But when you put systems and things in place where, cultures are crashing against each other, and
Yeah,
you've
it's
got
not
people
good.
who have not no form of hygiene, of morals, and the
Wow.
place just looks like a dump in some places. And it's like, how did we get to this? This wasn't like this 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, that's the way I said. When I went back home, I was like, when I grew up, we were a flourishing ghetto. You know what I
Mm.
mean? This is not even a flourishing ghetto.
Hmm.
You know? What
It's
happened?
yeah. What happened? Technology happens. Technologies happened, and people would rather text somebody or go on social, onto Twitter or Instagram or something like that, rather than actually go out of their house and talk to somebody and have a conversation and meet
Yeah,
people. They want to
yeah.
vicariously live their lives through this digital age.
And they are. Listen, they are. I'm trying to tell you, it's happening. It's just our way of life. We're all living noble like the Jetsons.
Oh shit! Without the
And it
flying
gets
planes.
better.
Without the
It,
flying
it's
cars, even.
oh, it's gonna happen real soon. We may not be around to see it, but it's gonna happen. I'm telling you, champ.
Fingers and toes crossed, man. Fingers and toes crossed. We can get. Listen, yeah, actually, no, not even fingers and toes crossed. We need to, because as humanity and as mankind, we have evolved technologically, but spiritually and emotionally, we've devolved. Some of us, I'll use that we loosely, have devolved into cavemen. Some people can't
Yeah,
even communicate. They're just grunting and.
yeah, it's pretty terrible, isn't it?
So maybe we need a reset, like the Book of Eli.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
electricity. Let's go back to the
Uh-huh.
old school.
They're not gonna let us do that.
Their plan's a bit more wider than that, and it says.
Right. They're not
All
gonna
right
let us
then.
do that.
So let's get back into you. Let's get back into you. So,
What's up?
so we grew up, Chester,
Oh my God!
five
All we did was
flock.
fight. All we
Okay.
did was fight, 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 fight,
Mm.
fight, fight. Life was nothing but a fight. It was just nothing but a fight. It's a shame for a young child to grow up and then you just grow up in the atmosphere. All you're doing is just fighting, 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 fight to go to the store. Your mom sending you to the store to get some eggs, butter, and cheese. You got to fight to get to the store, fight to get out the store. Then you got to fight to get the daggone bread because they done took the damn bread. Mama tell you don't come home without her eggs, butter, and cheese. You gotta get the eggs, butter, and cheese because three people that took the daggone eggs, butter, and cheese. Life ain't nothing but a fight. Then it goes back to the chapter Ephesians.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hmm.
And what I learned just from my experience and my education from my grandparents and my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother. That's why God said, wear your armor of God at all time.
Mm.
Am I
Hmm.
making sense to you?
Hmm.
Because that is our equipment to prepare us to fight.
So,
Life is gonna be a fight. We gotta protect ourselves, champ. Anyway, don't let me get spiritual on
hey,
you, champ.
well, listen. You already know this, yes, is because as a mature woman now, walking in the lights, you see it. You don't have to constantly fight like you did back in the day no more. People see that light which emanates all around you, and they're like, I don't want no piece of this.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna
Well,
keep
thank
on walking
God.
by.
Whew, thank God. I'm tired of running.
This is the thing. It's that confidence you exude. It's everything. When you're at a certain place mentally and spiritually, don't get me wrong, you do have speed bumps, you do have
Oh yeah,
barriers that you've
we
got to
all do.
overcome.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
just part of
They're
life.
tests.
That
They're
exactly.
tests. They're
Yes.
tests.
Hmm. That's it. A test.
That's how I look at it. I figured it out. Yeah, it's
And
all a
this is it.
test.
And as just use another phrase, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Again, it's written. It's written. Whatever God's not going to give us any more than we can't handle. It's written.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
100%. 100%.
And that's all of us, Noble. That's all of us, champ.
Yeah. We just gotta we collectively, loosely, just need to figure it out. We just need to get
Yeah.
to that point. Forget the scientism of of religion. Forget I wouldn't say forget, but study to show thyself approved. I say this every broadcast, and especially when we're talking about the Bible. We can no longer go on a Sunday where most people worship on a Sunday, the first day of the week, and go to church and allow a pastor, priest, whatever, to say nice things,
Right.
just to say
Hmm.
nice things and not really read out the book.
Right.
Where, where do we verify these wonderful things that you're saying in the book?
In
When
the
are we going
book,
to
it's
go in the
written.
book and read it?
It's written. You know, some people. You know what? Some people, some spirits are afraid to open the book because it's just like the unknown. You know, they're really reluctant to open the book because they were brought here to do one thing and one thing only,
Hmm.
and that is to hate,
Yes.
discriminate. Hold
Hmm.
tight, let me finish. Um, as is written, to seek, kill, and destroy. That's what the spirits do. The evil spirits do. And what they do, they attack other spirits. That's their goal. They attack them to try to distract the spirits. Like when I was bullied or when you were bullied. They try to distract you from going on the right path to your goal, to the goal that you're supposed to your journey. That makes sense?
Hmm.
That making sense to you?
Obstacles, more obstacles.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
It's
every day. Every day.
yes. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, keep it moving.
Yeah. Every obstacles every day. Now, listen, if I don't have an obstacle, I'm like, what the heck's going on? You know
Even
what I mean?
yeah, I mean, it's even a bad day. It's like, whoa, I ain't had to battle today.
Well, yeah, really, what's going on? What's really going on? It goes back to what Taraji Henson said. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, baby.
Yes, it's
You dig?
factual. It's factual.
Yeah,
It is factual. So when I get censored on YouTube and stuff, I'm like, I'm doing my job clearly.
exactly.
I'm
Love
I,
it.
I'm not
Bring
I'm
it.
I'm not promoting dysfunction. I'm bringing forth light, and clearly the powers that shouldn't be don't want that there. Hence the shadow banning and the blocking and all that. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I will continue to do this here.
That's right. That's what
So
you
it's
got to
it's
do, champ.
signs, eyes to see, ears to hear.
That's right.
We see it
You
and we
know,
keep on navigating through.
that's right. But we got to pay attention. My mom used to always say to me, champ, when I was a little girl, and I didn't understand then. I didn't understand then, but I understand that now. She used to always say to me, you got to use your third eye, sissy. You got three eyes, but you got to use your third eye. You got to use that one. Open it up.
Hmm.
Open it up.
Hmm.
You understand? You got to
Yes.
use the eye behind you too. Open it up. You got to be able to see behind you too.
Yes.
Have you ever heard that before, champ?
Yeah. Not the
Huh?
one behind you, the third eye one,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You gotta watch. Yeah, you gotta have open the one behind you too. You gotta see what's behind you too.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense. Yeah, we
100%.
do. We
Mm.
all do. We all do.
But with the drinking of fluoridated water, the lack of exercise, the poor diet, calcification of the pineal glands, the list goes on and on and on. That third eye gets really, really closed by the time you get to teenage years,
Yeah,
and especially now, it's like there's no waking that thing back up, man. We got to do some major work, man. We got to do some major work and utilize the ones that the eyes that we've got right now.
yeah, yeah.
So the fight was on. It was a constant fight. What did we do at school wise? What was school like for you? What was your school
Oh my
experience?
God! Listen, I was like this great, uh, great athlete as far as basketball and track. Outstanding. In fact, I was one of the top athletes in my state. I was the only athlete to receive a double scholarship for Division I scholarship, double basketball and track in my state.
Okay,
Just
Cheetah, explain
simple.
the Division 1, Division 2 thing. What's all that about? Because obviously here we don't.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Division I, that is the elite level of top athletes like Michael Jordan.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Dawn Staley, Lisa Leslie.
Hmm.
Um, you know, Lamar. All the top guys. Division
Yes.
two are the average guys. Like for example, Scottie Pippen was a Division II basketball player.
Okay.
And what's crazy is Division III is like the lowest level. And guess who comes from Division III? Steph Curry
Wow.
from Davidson comes from Division III level.
Hard work.
So yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. So there are different levels: Division I, Division II, Division III in America. And
Hmm.
Division I is the top level, the top athletes in the country.
Right.
Okay. I've received a scholarship. And guess what? My first year, I flunked out.
On the
Unbelievable.
not on your gift that you have, I guess on
Yeah.
the educational side.
On the educational side, I
Hmm.
had a what I did all throughout high school, I was a top athlete academically and athletically. I don't know what happened, but once I went to college and met this guy named Jermaine, I was a rookie. I didn't have my parents there, I had my own place, so things kind
Mm.
of changed. That makes sense.
100%. 100. You're just starting to grow into a young woman, and yeah, yeah.
Every day he and I had my own room because I was a top athlete. So he stayed with me.
Uh-huh.
So every day it was just an experience. I learned.
Yes, but it's made you the person you are today, sis. So yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah. It really did.
So what did that feel like for you then? So you flunked out of that day. What did that crush you? I mean, like, because before academically and
Yeah,
everything.
it did. I didn't realize what I had done until after it was all over. I'll never forget the coach calling me in, and she said we got to talk. And it was her and the head coach, the captain. And she said, "Listen, we're going to have to put you on academic probation." At that time, I was just a rookie. What's academic probation? I knew what probation was,
Mm,
so I kind of figured it out. Academic probation. Yeah, okay. I was like, "But why?" And they told me that my grades were not very well, and that I was always going to class. I didn't go to class, and I was always coming to practice late. And the reason why I was coming late because I was with my guy all the
yeah,
time. You dig
yeah.
my dude all the time. I mean, like in love. Woo,
But
woo.
this, but sis, listen, this I expect nothing less based upon the situation you're in. You're away from home. You're in your teens. You've just hooked up with a.
18,
This.
18.
That's the height of it, man. That's the height of it. You've got your
No mom. I don't have to come in at 10 o'clock.
This is it. This is
He don't
your
have to
world.
come through the bedroom window, or climb up to use a sheet to climb up to the second floor, you know?
Mm, definitely, definitely. So that was as you say, that was a shock to the system. So how did you overcome this year then?
Oh, Noble. Oh my God. It was so devastating. I didn't realize what I'd done. Once the coach told me I was on academic probation, that I had to pack all my stuff and leave the facilities. I had went on home, and what I'd done first was went to the bank to get some money. And I'll never forget hearing this banker say, "Oh my God, did you hear what Fredia Gibbs did?" And I'm in line waiting to get some money to
What?
go home. And this banker's like, teller's like, "Oh my God, did you hear what happened to Fredia Gibbs? What she did?" And the other teller's like, "What? She flunked out of college. She just let us all down. Look in the
Oh,
newspaper." And I was like standing in line, like, and
shit.
when I heard that lady say she let all of us down, that's when I woke up.
Mm,
That makes sense.
yes.
I'm like, how
Yes.
did I let them down?
Mm,
You know what I mean? And then I woke up.
mm.
Then I
Ex- ex-
realized I made a big mistake.
external confirmation.
Yeah, I made a big exactly, Noble. That's exactly what it was. I realized I made a big mistake.
Mhm.
And what I had done, I went to my grandmother after I got the money. In fact, I didn't go to that teller. I went to somebody else because she knew who I was. She heard my name. You know what I mean? So I kind of like went somewhere else and got the money at the time because they didn't have ATMs at the time. You did
Old school.
back in the 80s. They did ATM. They didn't have ATMs, and I went to my grandmother. Talked to my grandmother, let her know what was going down. I just had to get away from Pennsylvania because what I had done, I went back to my 5 mile radius where I come from,
Good
the
old
hood.
Chester.
Yeah. And I walked around. After I heard the teller, I walked around. I looked at everything and I was looking at everybody and I was like, no, I don't want to be like this.
Mm,
I can do better.
mm,
I realize now, Father, where I made my mistake. So what I had done, I went to my mother. My mother is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to writing poetry, Noble. And I said, "Mother dear, I need you to do me a favor because I was inspired at this time. Once I took flunked and heard the teller, talked to my grandmother, then I went back to my 5 mile radius, walking around looking at everybody, looking at the ghetto, the hood, everybody, ain't nobody trying to, few people trying to progress and step out. I talked to my mom. I said, I need you to write me a poem. She said, what, sissy? She said, what do you want the title to be? I said, I want this poem to be called Ain't No Stopping Me Now. And I explained to her what my experience was. So she wrote it down. And that's the name of the poem. It's called Ain't No Stop Me. I might as well just share it with you. What the heck, champ? It's only like a 60 seconds. But it goes like this. This is from my experience at Temple when I flunked out. So if anybody flunk out, I'm going to tell you something. It's not the end of the world. You dig? But it goes like this. I had a name in life to become the best in what I do. In the beginning, things started out swell, but without thinking, I blew. Now I have another chance to really make things right. I know I intend to make it. On your march, get set, go. Because life is full of challenges, and I won't let nothing stop me now. I'll be out there plunging hard and how. A superstar I intend to be. Fredia the Cheetah Gibbs is what the world shall call me. I've got it made if I strive real hard. But most of all, I must put my faith in my Lord. Cause world ain't no stopping me now. I have many plans and how. There are too many forks in the roads and problems I must bear. But with the will to make it, my strength can't be compared. It is like I once said before, Noble, with a smile on my face. Ain't no stopping me now, champ, cause I intend to win my race.
Powerful.
Got it?
you you said your mum's skilled and talented with putting that together.
Yes, yes. And she wrote that for me. And I've been carrying it with me. And what I did, I went to New York because I wasn't gonna play ball no more. I went to New York. I punished myself because I did wrong with the gift that God gave me.
Mhm.
You dig? I punished myself. So I went to New York to help my auntie out with her hotels because she had hotels that she needed help with in Brooklyn. And here I find myself. Guess where I find myself when I go to Brooklyn to help her out? On the basketball, the cage, the famous basketball cages in New York. And I'm just, isn't that crazy how God
Mm.
works? And here I'm just shooting around and I'm telling the guys, I flunked out. I told them how I messed up and everything. I'm not going to ever play ball again. I'm not playing college ball. I'm done with it. I'm only going to play street ball. Now, mind you, we doing it up. Bam, 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 street ball. And mind you, I was there for like about a year. And before I left, I'll never forget and I went back to tell the guys, yo, man, I'm out of here. And I had already made my mind up what I wanted to do with my life and what direction I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And before I left, I told the guys, I'm out of here. And the guys was like, listen, don't you give up that basketball gift, girl. That's your ticket. And sure enough, when I caught the bus back to Pennsylvania and went to my grandmother's house, the Division III school called Cabrini University, their head coach reached out to me and wanted to offer me a scholarship to play for their school and turn their program around. He didn't think that he could get me because I was a Division I ball player. But because I had already decided that I am going to focus academically on my academic to prove to myself that I can do this, because I already know I can do it athletically. You dig? But this time around, I'm going to focus on my academic. And when I went back to grandma, God sent Mike Tenaglio. He reached out, we sat down, and next thing I know, here I am at Cabrini University, turned their whole basketball program around, and I got a college education, and I have a college degree. So it worked out. I just had to go that direction. That's all. God had another direct plan for me.
Yes, yes. Cabrini, that name sounds familiar. I associate that name with Chicago.
No, no,
You-
no, no. It's in Radnor, Pennsylvania. Actually, at the time, it was an all-girls school. It's a private elite school, actually
Oh,
all-girls school. And then, as when I arrived there, it was just going co-ed, But it's on the main line in the very elite area near Villanova University. It was all
mm.
white, all rich people went there. Oops, excuse me. Well, yeah, what the
Yeah,
heck? It is what
yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
is what
yeah.
it is.
And they sought out the talent to turn things around.
Yeah, champ. Yeah. Turned their entire women's basketball my trade-off was you give me a great education
Hmm.
and I'll give you my basketball skills, my athletic skills. And that was the deal. That was the trade-off.
And what position? What position did you play?
I played all of them.
She okay.
I just played them all, man. I just wanted to win. And the girls, they were Division III, I was Division I. So what I did, I kind of embraced their strengths
Hmm.
and was able to utilize them in a positive way for
Hmm.
us to really turn the program around. You dig?
Excellent, excellent. So where do we go from athletics, track, basketball to kicking women in the head?
Oh, was keeping my throat. All this here, I've always been doing karate. I never stopped. When I was in high school, I was doing karate. Just people never knew about it. When I went
Ah,
college, throughout my whole college career, I was doing karate. I continued doing that.
and this is the
Um,
karate from your uncle.
yeah, from my uncle. Yeah, I always did it privately. It was just something that I did on the side, and it was just basically to help me to build my self confidence and my self esteem.
Hmm.
And it just became, a religion. It became a sport. Actually, it was a sport in the beginning, And then what happened? My grandparents and my mom, they helped me to combine it to help to so that I could make it like a religion. Now, by that I mean, us fighters, we always wearing our equipment. You dig? We have our headgear,
Mm.
we have our gloves, our chest gear, our mouthpiece. We have our foot shin guards, etc. So fighters, kickboxers, we all do this, and this is our protection. So what I learned from a young child, and this is what I have done from a young child, very beginning, um, is combine, the armor of God with the equipment that we utilize as fighters.
Right.
So with the armor of God, God has provided us with our headgear, our shield, our breastplate, our belt of truth, our shoes, and our gloves here, as well as the sword. So I kind of like combined those two,
Hmm.
and that's the way that I've always looked. I always look at it. Whenever I'm stepping in the ring to get ready to spar with the guys, I put on my armor of God, and
Mm.
I'm ready. You
So,
know?
okay. So you mentioned sparring with the guys. So
Oh,
now, back then, women's combat sports wasn't, as it is now. So clearly, I guess the only talent that you had to spar with was other men.
that was it. It was all good because I was, hey, I wish they was here because I learned from some very lethal guys from Quiet Storm martial arts when I was younger and growing up to a young adult. So I learned some stuff, some fashionable, some. Look, out champ. I've been doing jujitsu and body slams way before they even came up with this stuff. You did
Mm,
from with these guys right here. Because
yes.
I learned them. We combined everything. We combined the monkey, aikido, Jeeta Kwan, kickboxing. We combined everything. Jiu-jitsu when I grew up.
Hmm.
Am I making sense to you?
hundred
But
percent.
yeah, we combined. I learned from some lethal guys, and I'm so happy that I was able to pour it, share it with folks. So yeah, sparring with the guys, it was fun. It was fun asking. Love mixing it up with them. It ain't nothing but a game. It's like chess.
With higher consequences.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So you're having fun. You've always been doing the karate thing. You
right.
mixed it up um, with the various different additional tools to the tool belt. When did we actually start? Do we go? And this is a double question. Did you have to do amateur first?
Yeah, well, karate I did amateur. I've had over 100 fights in karate. That's a lot of people aren't aware. And it's cool. My uncle, he was just, I mean, he's just an amazing guy. He was really my mentor. I think I had someone like him in my life. But what he would do, champ, he would take me to like gyms, and he would always, I'm like, I was always focused on my belts. He was like, don't worry about the belts. Your white belt to get dirty. But I'll never forget, he used to always take me to various different schools in Pennsylvania and Philly, right? And I'll never forget the one first time I was sitting down and we went to the school. I was sitting down in school and I saw him go and talk to the instructor. Then I saw them both look at me. Then my uncle calls me like this here. I go over and they tell me go put on my gi. Now I see this one sister coming out and she's a black belt. She got on her black gi. She a black belt. He sends me in there. Now mind you, I got cold feet. I'm like nervous because all this time I've only sparred with my uncle. So this is the first time I'm actually sparring somebody else other than him.
Mhm.
So you know how it is. We comfortable with one person. But here I am going with something. So I got cold feet, started sweating, probably had an anxiety attack, didn't know it. But to make a long story short, we sparred. And it was incredible because only thing I was focused about was her. She was a black belt and I'm a white belt. But when it was all over, this white belt beat this black belt.
Yay.
You do?
Now, was that full contact?
Yeah, it was full contact. That was full karate contact. Now, as far as kickbox is concerned, as I shared with you in the video, I saw Sensei Benny over in Germany because I was over in Germany playing professional basketball. After my contract playing professional basketball, I went to California, Van Nuys. I hooked up with Sensei Benny, and I'm gonna tell you something. I learned something. Despite the fact that I was a rookie and I only knew karate at the time, what I do want to share with everyone who is making a transition from karate or boxing to kickboxing You might be awesome with your hands in boxing and you might be a great karate person, but when you step in the ring with that kickboxer, you're gonna get your tail kicked. I'm telling you, they beat me up, man. I got whipped. I got whipped really good. Come home every day and soak in Epsom sauce and talk to my mom with the black and blue marks. Like, you know what? I gotta learn this kickboxing. I gotta learn this because they just whipped me up, champ.
So was one of the first things that you wanted to do was learning how to check kicks, and I take it.
I wanted to learn how to check kick, and I wanted to learn how to kick it. I wanted to learn how to throw those kicks with that shin because I'm
Mm.
telling you, I could barely walk home. They put it on me. And see, in karate, you know, we're always throwing all these high kicks and we kick with our instep. With
Yeah.
kickboxing, they kick with their shins
Shin.
and they don't play.
Mm.
Noble. Kickboxing truly is. And I'm surprised that you're just learning about kickboxing because kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing truly is the most dangerous
Oh yeah.
stand-up game on the planet.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
There's no ifs, no ands, no buts about it. It is the most dangerous stand-up game on the planet. We watch the UFC every day.
Elbows, fists, shin,
Knees.
knee, elbow. Oh, days.
It's good.
Yeah. Look, it's the one of the truest forms of combat.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what's great? It originated from the Thais.
Mm.
And you know what's awesome? I learned Muay Thai kickboxing from the Thais, but I learned kickboxing from Sensei Benny and them. And there is a difference.
Oh yes. Major
You
difference
already
between
know that.
kickboxing
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There is a difference without a doubt.
Very much so, very much so. And the well, you've trained obviously both Muay Thai and kickboxing. The
Oh, yeah.
training's
I got, yep.
quite
Yep.
different in regard to the conditioning and the body and stuff as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, yeah, it is. It is to a degree. You know, there's a the Thais train. You know, every culture does things differently. You know, the Thais they train certain way. They do ab work certain ways.
Hmm.
You know, and the Americans we do ab work various different ways, but we can always learn from each other.
Definitely,
You do? Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
So, did you actually compete in any Muay Thai fights as well, or was that
yeah.
just
I
us?
have two belts in Muay Thai. I actually have three world championship belts, but I have two in Muay Thai and one with the ISKA.
And the world title is that American, or did you go abroad
Which one?
for the Muay Thai championships?
It was the World Kickboxing Association, whatever that WKA, whoever they are. Yeah, it was
Okay.
world. It was world. Both of them were
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Miss.
You do Muay Thai kickboxing?
Pardon?
You do kickboxing?
No,
Well, you ought
I
to
would
try it
like
out.
to. I would definitely like
Try
to.
it out. Yeah, try it out. I bet you got long legs too, don't you?
You already know this is. You already know the thing.
So if you got long legs, those are good weapons, great weapons that you got, because you can use those legs like baseball bats or jabs.
Exactly,
That makes sense.
exactly. The
Yeah.
teeps and yes, I know, I know.
Yeah.
One of my I haven't seen him in quite some time, but he's a I can't remember what belt he is, but he did kickboxing, karate, and I think he did a bit of jujitsu as well.
Uh-huh.
So he's taught me a few things, and just on the basics, the basic few lessons that we've done over the years and stuff, he said that yeah, you've got the frame of sorts to do kickboxing and or Muay Thai, for instance. So yes, it's definitely enjoyable. I would love. It's just time. I've got to make time to go, and I've got to
You're
find a
worth
good
it.
gym. Mm,
It's worth it. Do it, even if you did it for 60 days, even if you did it for 30 days, even if you did it for 30 days twice a week.
hmm
You did 30 days twice a week just for yourself.
I'd be hooked, sis. It wouldn't be for 30 days. It'd be for life.
Yeah, but but I know that, but you got to start.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
You got to start. So you did 30 days. Okay, I'm going to try this out for 30 days and I'm going to do this twice a week. You did?
Mm,
You are going to feel incredible. And first of all, the transformation is going to start with your soul.
mhm,
Okay. And then it comes out and spreads out.
mm.
Yeah.
So clearly, based upon our conversation so far, it seems that I like to have when I have conversations with combat sports people, athletes. it's very apparent that the structure, the environment that you're in really helps build character, helps release some maybe anger that some people may have,
Mhm.
frustration, um, and also grounds people.
Right.
Being in that sporting, that athletic environment, learning to defend yourself, and ultimately get fit as well. Um,
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about the your experiences and how important, being in a structured environment helps.
Well, I grew up in a structured environment. Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I was very fortunate to grow up in a structured environment where I grew up with a mom and a dad.
Hmm.
You dig? And I was raised with them. So I've always saw that growing up, and I grew up with the grandpapa, and grandparents, and great grandpapa and grandparents. So that base, that found, and I've grew up with, had the opportunity to grow up with great male mentors in my life, and that's a very important thing, especially back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Noble, because during that time, little girls were being actually molested
Hmm.
or raped and killed during that time,
Hmm.
um, unfortunately. So it's all about the blueprint. I grew up with some
Yes.
great mentors, male mentors in my life, as well as very strong and great female mentors in my life who happen to be extremely spiritual.
Mm.
Yeah,
And as you say, at that time, pardon self, that disgusting behavior was taking place, and it was very much on the under, as we say. It wasn't um,
yeah.
very much public. Nowadays, unfortunately, I think it's increased even further, but we are aware of it. I think what we need to do as uncles, as aunties, as mothers, as fathers, as concerned citizens, is we need to be a bit more on guard with our children, because unfortunately we still have those pervasive, disgusting beings that are trying to take advantage of young males and females.
It's very true, and it's not going to go away. Excuse me. It's not going to go away. And like I tell people, I'm so happy that I had the type of mother that I had, because my mother was a tough mom. She was beautiful, she was
Hmm.
educated, but she was tough. And I'm so happy that I had the mother that I had, because I'll never forget when a close listen, we got a bunch of kids today that are being missing, and we
Mm.
know what's happening to them.
Hmm.
We know what's happening to them. Yeah, some of them may be being sex trafficked, but we know a lot of things are happening to these children, little boys and little girls, where they're never coming back, unfortunately. You dig? And the area where I grew up, like I said, it was the Chester, 5 miles. Everybody knew who the child molesters were. Just like everybody know who the neighborhood wino is, everybody know who the neighborhood superstar is, everybody know who the neighborhood drug dealer is, everybody know who the neighborhood thief is. That makes sense.
Hmm.
And in that situation right there, I never forget my mother. Well, my mother's very close friend, Lauren, she was like 7 years old, 8 years old. When she turned up dead in an abandoned house that we used to play in, my mom put her foot down. And what she did, she lined me, my brother, and my sister up. And I'm the oldest. We're probably like 11 years old, 10, 11 years old. I was 10 years old. My brother and me younger. And she took us over to the child molesters' homes. Every last one of them, Noble. True story. She said she knocked on their door, starting with the first one. Richard, how you doing? I'm married. I want you to take a good look at all three of my children. Yeah, man, which one? I just want you to take a good look at all three of my children, because I know that you're the neighborhood child molester. Take a good look at them. This is Fredia, this is Brian, and this is Daphne. I better ever see any of my children sitting on your lap in your home, coming from your home, and don't give them no gifts. Am I making myself clear? Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. And she said, if I do, my mom pulled out a butcher knife. I mean, a machete. She said, I will cut it off.
Man.
He was like, get out of here, man. You crazy. No, I'm just letting you know. You
Yeah.
mess with any of my children, I'm going to show you you're crazy.
Mm.
Am I making sense to you, champ? So I was
Thousand
very
percent.
fortunate to grow up with a mother like that, who happened to come from a big family. It was 16 of them. So it was 8 boys and 8 girls.
Hmm.
You dig? So, very fortunate to have that on my mother's side and to have my uncle who was the martial art instructor. So, that foundation, that blueprint, it built me into the person that I am today. Like your
100%.
foundation, like your
Mm,
foundation built you into the
mm,
person that you are today.
definitely, definitely. I think we definitely need more mothers to be proactive like that, especially in this day and age with technology and stuff. Fathers as well. I mean, I'm not suggesting that, any physical harm is done to anybody, but look, we need to protect the innocence, the youth,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Yes.
hurt people will continue to hurt people. And this grooming thing and all of that stuff it's prevalent. It's scary, Cheetah. It's
Yes, it is.
really scary, man.
Yes, it is, champ. Yes, it is. But it's happening. And it's
Hmm.
happening everywhere. And it's happening with people of power.
Especially, especially that. I
You
mean,
dig?
the Super Bowl just took place, right? And did you
Uh-huh.
hear about all of those arrests and those stings that they did for child traffic,
No, no,
sex
I did
trafficking?
not. Oh,
Uh-huh.
wow.
They arrested, I think it was 30 odd people pre Super Bowl who came in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
it's it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. They're trafficking in from the Caribbean, from obviously mainland Central America, from South America, and obviously when these big events take place, the Super Bowls, your NBA playoffs, anything big where people are coming in,
Right,
they're lining up these poor, unfortunate children, minors, to be
right.
abused and to be victimized for
And you know
profits.
what, Noble? I'm gonna tell you something, champ. You over there in England. Only thing I can just tell you from my own personal experience, you during the time that I was in Thailand, you have parents who actually sell their children
Yes, unfortunately, yeah.
in order,
Mm,
to live better.
hmm
Put them to work. You
mm,
go make some money. You come back in 30 days.
mm.
You dig? So you got some countries that legally do that. We're the only ones that don't. For those third world countries, they're
Mm.
on a whole different level, champ.
And even with that verbiage, and it's not us that has created it. First, where in first world countries? Who decided that? And why is it that the Caribbean and
Oh wow.
Thailand and all that is third world? Is it because you've made them that way? Why
Yeah,
can't
that's
they
true.
why can't they grow their own produce and export it without you, the IMF and the World Bank saying, no, 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 you're not going to do that. We're going to give you some money, because we've given you sanctions and stuff, and then we're going to make McDonald's, Kentucky, and all the rest of these big corporate companies come in, and then not even it's a slippery slope. It's a crazy slippery slope. So as you say, to put food into the belly, clothes onto the back, and to shelter, as you
Mm-hmm.
say, some parents are selling their children.
They are. I mean, they're literally.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never forget in Thailand. I
Mm,
got eyes. I didn't understand the language, but I got eyes, and I feel energy, and I'm like, is
mm,
she? Wow. So
yeah.
this American man wants to buy these children
Hmm.
for the 30 days that he's staying here in Thailand.
Yeah.
That's a daggone shame.
Hmm.
And they ain't even 10 years old.
Yeah.
They ain't even 16. He want
Mm,
the young ones.
mm. It's disturbing. It is so, so disturbing. It's I don't.
It is.
Mm,
And you got Americans, my apologies, you got Americans over to go over there just for
yeah.
that purpose. Because they know they can't do it here.
They're going over to Thailand, Frida. They're going over to Africa, Frida. They're going over
Fredia.
Fredia, sorry,
That's
apologies,
okay.
apologies. They're going over to the Caribbean for this sex
Oh,
tourism.
they are. See, I didn't know about that part right there, Noble.
Yeah.
Wow.
People haven't got any money. Look, they've crashed the economy. They've crippled countries and stuff. So what else are people to do? It's wrong. It's totally wrong. But you'll get these tourists. They'll come off the plane, and you'll have an uncle who will meet them in the bar and say, "Oh, what and pull his phone out. Look at these," and he'll pick, and then he'll
Yep.
go back to them, his sister, and say, "Look, I need my niece for 5 hours."
Yep. You already know. You already know. Exactly.
This is what we need to change. This is what we need to change. And trustfully, with good people out here, um, using their eyes and their ears and actually doing things, we can slowly but surely put a dent in this. It will never stop, but we need to put a dent into this pervasive, disgusting behavior.
We need to change. There's a whole lot of things that really need to change, and the world altogether. The the racism, equality that needs to change. The economic inequality, the
Hmm.
racism and inequality, all these different things, all the sex trafficking, all these various different things need to change. It's a whole lot of things. That's why we need some strong. That's why I'm glad we got some women in the house.
Mm.
You understand?
Hmm.
We need some women in the house to help them clean this mess up. You
Trustfully,
understand?
trustfully, that's going to take place.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a district attorney who's making some noise in. Oh God, what's her name again?
Camilla Harris.
Not Camilla. Not no.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the vice president. My
Vice
bad.
Vice President. Yeah, she's. I'm
I don't know
sure.
who the district attorney is, but I know
Yeah.
they females, and that's
Yes.
awesome.
They
Because they don't have men clean. They're in there all that time. They out there. They done just messed up. Let's just make some changes up in here. Fix this.
Yes. Let's show and prove. Let's show 'em. Trustfully, Camilla will or Kamala. What is the right pronunciation for her name? Because I hear
That's
people say
good. You said it. That's it. Kamala.
Kamala, isn't it? Yeah.
Uh
So
huh.
looking back at her previous record as a district attorney, there's some questions that I have to raise in regards to her perfect record, and there's some stories, or not even stories. There's some news about not letting black males out of prison and her being quite. Have you heard anything about this?
Yeah, I heard about. Well, you know what? People are always gonna hate on certain things. They always gonna try to throw some salt in there. But
Mm,
obviously, if the woman did it, she did it for a reason. Let me
mhm,
share this with you, champ. Okay, and this is one of the things. Just people people do things. If she did it for a reason.
mhm,
There was a reason at that particular time. People gonna hate. They always hate when you're trying to do great things. You understand?
mhm.
Nobody's perfect. You
Oh,
understand? And
never
that's
can
how
be.
we learn from our mistakes. Even if it was a mistake on her end and she did do it, I'm sure she learned from it. You understand?
Mhm.
Even if it did
Trustfully,
happen. Yeah,
trustfully, she had to learn
yeah,
from it.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. That's
definitely.
all. Yeah,
Ultimately,
you
as you
understand?
say, we just need to bring forth that close that gap in regards to equality across the board, whether it's racial,
Exactly.
whether it's financial, all of those
Yeah.
things. I mean, well, what blows my mind, sis, is we're in the Gregorian year of 2021,
Uh huh.
and we've got Elon Musk, who has now been named as the richest person in the world,
Right.
and we've got people without food, clothing, and shelter, and there's open sewerage in their towns or their villages, but yet we've got a person who's the richest person in the world. Where are our priorities as human beings and as mankind?
Well, Noble, it goes back to a blueprint. Obviously, Elon Musk got a blueprint. You
Mm,
understand? Now, what these people need to do is get a blueprint, even if it's a basic blueprint. Find a blueprint. You understand?
hmm
And make it happen. There is absolutely no reason that anyone should be home. I mean, we got this pandemic going on, so that's on a whole different level.
hmm
Because they say it's only going to get worse. Unfortunately, this is what I hear. Do you hear the same thing?
I'm hearing the fear porn being put out there, but Fredia, I'm a quite one and one equals two person. There is
Right. Yeah.
something clearly going on in regards to some kind of new flu type disease that's out there.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. My question is, or what I'm thinking is,
Uh-huh.
how they're portraying it doesn't make
Like it's
sense.
nothing. Yeah.
I mean, like
Right.
from when it first happened, I'm thinking, okay, this is serious. This is potentially serious from what I'm seeing on the news. And then
Right.
when I
Right.
walk outside, I'm thinking, well, where are the ambulances like constantly screaming up the roads? Where are people falling out on the street like they were in China? Like I go past hospitals and they're dead. There's no one there. But then when I turn the news on, oh, we've had 55,000 people died here.
I
This
know,
country's
huh?
had like how? And then the news are then saying, okay, well, if you were tested positive for COVID, or you were suspected of having COVID, but then you died non-related to
Right.
COVID, we're going to class it as a COVID death. Like, what? Why would you do that? What's the reasoning? We're like, and in America, isn't it a $35,000 each hospital we're getting for putting people on ventilators? This it does not make any sense, Cheetah.
Right. No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. And then to come up with a vaccination within 12 months, when if you can draw back your memory to the early 80s when they was having those massive letters, doom, 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 HIV, AIDS, it's gonna kill you. This is the worst thing ever. Where's the cure for that thing?
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Where's
Right.
cancer's been around? Why aren't all the scientists in all the world coming to, oh, you know what, we're gonna kill this cancer thing off. We're gonna done it. But for coronavirus, which they've retroactively re-engineered a SARS vaccine from. This is all fishy to me, sis. Real fishy.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank God life goes on.
Hmm.
And you know what? There's an old saying, and I'm gonna say it again. Throughout all that hell, that negativity and adversity,
Hmm.
still wound up on top. And that's the way we got to be as soldiers, spiritual
Yes.
soldiers.
Hmm.
You understand? But
Wrestle not against flesh, but principalities,
yes, yes, we got to be
wickedness.
soldiers. Yeah, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Everybody ain't gonna make it. We already know that. You know.
Mm. That's the truth of the matter. That is the truth of the matter. Uh, so let's get back to your
Yeah,
victory.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Let's
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
let's get back to your fighting career.
Yeah.
Paint that picture um as vividly as possible. How do we get to win that kickboxing championship? How did all that come about?
Well, at the time I was actually in California pursuing a career in kickboxing.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was like 8 or 11-0 anyway. They were getting me different fights, and they had reached out to me and offered me an opportunity to fight for the world title. And I was like, yeah, sure, real nonchalant. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, they. What got me is my trainers were different this time around. They offered me now, mind you, for like 11 fights, we got to fight for such, so we're going to train for this and that. Okay, cool. But when it came to the world championship fight, I noticed a difference in my trainer's attitude and energy.
Mm.
He kept saying things to me like, well, you got everything to gain and nothing to lose. And if you lose, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at him like,
Ah.
if you lose, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. And that bothered me
Hmm.
because he had that type of energy.
Mm.
And we initially were set to fight Muay Thai. So what they had done was got me a Muay Thai training. That's how I got with Saxon Jan Gier, the real Muay Thais. And I
Mm.
was so happy because I didn't like my current trainer's energy.
Hmm.
And he was beginning to frustrate me to the point where I was spiritually feeling that they were setting me up. I'm just keeping it real. That's
Yeah.
all I can do. I was spiritually feeling that I was being set up, but it was going to be okay because I had everything to gain, nothing to lose. Even if I lost,
Hmm.
this is what they were telling me. And when I got with my new trainer, I had, I got so upset because the man who's been in my corner all these years, I felt like he was putting me out there to be set up, and he
Mm.
didn't know me.
Even though he's put all that time and work, and you've done your 10-0, and yeah, I get you.
He didn't know me. So that really inspired me and motivated me. And I'll never forget when we were going, and I had to say to him, yo, man, listen. I had to counter his energy this one particular time I'll never forget. Because sometimes, a lot of times, Noble, you got to counter certain negative energy just to let it know, yo,
Mm.
get out of here.
Yeah.
I ain't rolling like that, okay? I'm not going for it.
Hmm.
Just keeping it real.
Hmm.
And I had to face that energy. And I said, listen, I am not going training for this fight to lose, man.
Mm.
You understand? This is what I
Champ.
had to tell him. Yo, I'm not training to lose.
Hmm.
I'm coming up in here to win, bro. Just so you know.
Hmm.
So stop talking like that to me. I had to be firm with him. You dig?
Champion stuff only.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to be really firm. And I'll never forget, here we are in LA. And instead of us catching a plane to San Jose, here I know another setup. We drove a car to San Jose, and they had me in the back of the car. And I just told them, look, just put something back there so that I can lay down and rest.
Mm.
All right. All I want to do is just sleep. I can't believe we're driving. This is another reason why I knew that I was being set up. Because what they didn't know is where I come from.
Yes.
You understand?
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
didn't know that I was a star, track and basketball athlete in my hometown and in college. They didn't know these things in karate. So I know
Hmm.
how stars are supposed to be treated.
Mm.
You understand?
How long was the drive?
It was like a 6 hour, 7 hour drive.
What?
And this was the day of the fight, Noble.
Set up.
Day of the fight. You understand?
Set up team.
Oh, clearly. So when I get there, champ, and I see as soon as I get there, they take me right in for the press conference. And she got a whole entourage. You hear me?
And what's
And
her record? Cheetah. What was her record?
her record was 27-2 at the time. Her name was
Woo.
Valerie Henry. Yeah, oh man, she was bad. I'm telling you. She put it on me, bro. I'm keeping it real.
She had
I'm
double
keeping
your
it real.
experience then, in essence, right?
Well, maybe in kickboxing,
Well,
but not
yes.
overall.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
understand? Um, But I'll never forget, she had this whole entourage, and I just we just came in out of the daggone car, straight to the press conference. So it's just so mind you, when I walk up to the press conference, it's just God, me, my corner man right, and my corner man left. And that's when she walks out toward me, looking like a model on his dress and everything. And me, I'm just looking like, let's get it on. I'm just okay, it's showtime. Got my bodysuit on, let's go. And that's when she said, I looked on the map and I couldn't find Chester. And everybody started laughing, but I didn't see anything funny about it. You dig?
Mm.
And then that's when I said what I had to say. Well, look here tonight. You'll find out where Chester is on the map. And I want you to know, since you want to laugh, and I done had this 6 hour ride up here, I'm the one your mama warned you about tonight. You dig?
Remember that. I remember that.
No, bro. But I gotta tell you what really shocked me, and this is what ISK didn't know my side of the story. They just know that I came in, I shocked the world, and I didn't hear from them again. But what blew my mind is when I heard, and it angered me, and I rarely. It takes a lot to upset me, you know. It really does. When I was walking to the ring, and when I heard them say, and they were chanting it, that's the black girl who came here to get knocked out, when I already knew from training that I was being set up. That pissed me off. That's when I knew that I had to call on my higher power, because I was being set up and it was all of them against me. You understand? And I knew that I could not beat them by myself.
Mm. That. See, now that could, based upon your foundation, your character, clearly, you was able to overcome that. But for other people, that would just crush them to just, as you say, have you two corner people and just you and the crowds against you. You've clearly been set up. Like that could just be that could be a walk in the park, a first round KO potentially, because you're mentally not there. You've got all of these. What if? Oh well, this is I'm not supposed to win this fight. Clearly, I haven't been flown over here. There's all of these barriers, but you drew on the well, and the Most High fortified you in that respect, and you take it away. What happened next?
Oh my God, like I said, I had to call on the higher power. When I heard them chanting, that's the black girl came here to get knocked out. I was blown away. Called on the higher power, continued walking to the ring, and I got angry. And then I'll never forget once I stepped into the ring, and I could have been wrong about my feelings, but normally energy don't lie. Okay,
Hmm.
when my corner man touched me, you all right? You all right? You're excited? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Because I was ready. I was focused. I was ready. I had no idea what I was getting myself in. I knew, like I tell everyone, I knew it was the world championship fight. But when I walked into San Jose's arena, Noble, I was blown away. It was just like walking into an arena and the NBA playing. It was over. The San Jose Arena held about anywhere from 30 to 50,000 people.
Mm. It's a big
That's
arena. I
what.
know about that. San Jose Arena. I know about that there.
Yeah, it blew me away. So the bottom line is, it was a tough fight. I understand why they called her the most dangerous woman in the world, because she was a bad woman. And look, my mom, I gotta give her props. My mom said, "How's she gonna be a dangerous woman in the world? She 27 and 2. She ain't that bad."
She got that those too.
Right? She 27 and 2. She ain't that bad. You know. So yeah, man, it was just. But she could fight. Oh man. Oh my goodness. And
So what happened between it originally being a Muay Thai fight to then it becoming a kickboxing fight?
That's a good question. All this time they had me training for Muay Thai. That's why I went with the ties. And then when I got there, what happened? They sent somebody to watch me train,
Ah,
and they saw it. You understand? So when I arrived there, they switched everything up. I didn't have to. They said we're going to wear long pants. You wearing foot guards, because I always fought without Muay Thai. You
hmm,
understand, with no
yeah,
protection on,
yeah.
hand gear, and you're gonna have to wear long pants, and you got to kick up. You have to kick from the waist above, no kicking low.
That is ridiculous. Well, what? Huh?
So they switched up. So that's why my legs got tired so quickly,
Mm,
because all that time I was training for
low leg
60 days. I
kicks.
was training low leg kicks.
Mm.
Then when I get there, they tell me we're going waist and above, and it just kind of threw me off. And my legs got tired quickly. That's why I had to,
Box.
man, I'm a spiritual person, man. I just am.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
I had to call.
was
Yeah,
that like five? Was that 2 minute rounds? Was it 3 minutes?
I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was 2 minute rounds.
Mm.
What's interesting, if you check out the fight there, Noble, and look at the numbers that were kicks and punches. I even knocked her out, and they gave her points when I knocked her out. I knocked her out. This is how you know it was set up. I knocked her out, and they gave her points. Now, one more thing, and check it out. And one more thing I want to tell you: the picture, you saw the picture with my mom's birthday up there, and I
Hmm.
knocked her out. They never gave me that picture. This is how the energy works, the universe works, because it's real. I can only tell you from my own personal experience, and I can only testify because it's real. But you got to listen, you got to pay attention. You understand? Here I am down at Marina Del Rey. I'm walking my dog, etc., because I was living down at the time. And all of a sudden, the referee, out of nowhere, now mind you, I done been down there 5 years. Out of nowhere, the referee of the fight at San Jose, we ran into each other's path. And we talked about the fight. And he said, "Listen, I'm going to tell you this here, but you can't tell nobody." I said, "Okay." He said, "They paid me to harass you. I was to stay on you at all time, do everything to frustrate you and to bother you. That was my job." I said, "I knew it." He said, "But when you knocked her out," he said, "I had never heard a roar like that before in my life."
Mm.
He said, "You shook up." He said, "You roared and shook up that whole arena." He said, "I never heard it like that." And then he said, "Listen, I got a picture for you." He said, "I don't need that picture. You should have it." And when he gave me that picture, that was me knocking her out with her on the ground. And I saw that picture of my mama's birthday there. Blew my mind.
Mm.
Ain't that crazy?
Definite.
Huh?
Meant to be, meant to
Oh
be.
man! And when he gave me those photos, I've had them ever since. Because again, it was spiritual. My mom, my grandmom, my
Hmm.
mother. Them. It's just spiritual. A16. A15, A16. That's my mom and grandmom's birthday. You know,
This is
and they had a
it.
lot to do with this. You dig? So the reality is, I'm gonna make this short. God, I called on him. He answered, and then he showed me he answered.
Hmm.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes,
Just
indeed.
it's pretty simple.
Hmm.
So he's real. It's
Look,
real.
listen. People say God's in the sky.
He's in
He's
us.
everywhere, man. He's in us. He's everywhere.
Absolutely.
Damn. Sea Star. Um,
Yeah. Champ. I like that. Siesta. I like that.
we're in the Gregorian year of 2021. What does the future hold for the cheetah?
Wow. Oh my God, Noble. Thank you for asking. Just so many amazing things. Major, major moves are happening right now. I have a 6 foot bronze statue that's being unveiled this year in Pennsylvania,
Mm,
and hopefully it's at the university. I'm not exactly sure, but they're going to surprise me. ISKA is a part of helping, being a part of they're just being a part of tremendous support from
mm,
ISKA, the International Kickboxing Association, and obviously they're international. Um, the short film you saw, that's how you and I connected. So
mhm,
apparently that has gone viral, and it has opened up some major, major doors and windows of opportunities, um, and I'm really looking forward to them. It's going to be a phenomenal year, despite the fact, and this is the attitude we all got to have, champ.
mhm,
Despite the fact that we're all going through this hell,
mhm,
this adversity,
mm.
understand that it's a test. But the great thing about athletes is, and us, is we know how to adapt. So just adapt and keep on moving forward, because we got a race to win. We got work to do.
Definitely. Everything in life is subject to change.
Yeah,
You gotta roll with it.
yeah. Adapt and keep on rolling with it, and keep elevating, going to the next level.
Oh yeah. And one of my mantras of sorts is be the best you can be every day.
For sure,
That's it.
for sure, absolutely.
So trustfully, we are gonna see some a major movie may be coming out, the story of, I think that your story, sis, from what we've touched
Huh?
on, which is only a little ski
Huh?
taste. It's only a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
ski
Had to give a
taste.
little taste. That's it,
You
little
know what I
taste.
mean? Just a little ski
Yeah,
taste this year. But putting it down on cinematically, that would be powerful, man. That would be empowering for athletes, for women, for young girls, for men, for everybody.
that's what I hear. So let me ask you: $1 million baby or MDW, most dangerous woman? Who you got?
The latter?
No, oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
I'm
million
already
dollar
rich,
baby.
sis.
Exactly. So
Come
you
on.
already know, right? You already know. Oh my God, this is
Come
just
on. I mean, that was
incredible.
cool. Don't get it twisted. That was cool, but nah, nah, nah. The cheetah story, that's the epic one, man. That's got a bit more flesh and sinew and flavor to it, man.
Yeah, we are excited. I just you know, uh, I have to keep things now confidential
Of
now that
course.
I've gone into agreement here.
Hmm.
But the future is going to it's getting better. It's going to be better. It's going to be brighter. It's going to be so much awesome. But the most important thing is that I'm being used in
Hmm.
order to touch people,
Hmm.
and to show them that it can be done. You know what I mean? You talk about somebody, champ, who thought about committing suicide when I was young.
Oh, of course. Yes, go through that. Do touch a little bit on that, sis, because
You
I think that
understand?
that's powerful.
So for any kids, any human being, listen to me. If you thought the thought or even think cross your mind of committing suicide, whatever, don't let the enemy steal your soul. You got a gift. Had I done that, I wouldn't have a 6 foot bronze statue coming. I would have never shocked the world.
Mm.
It's reverse psychology. That makes sense.
Yes.
Had I done that, I would not have accomplished all these great things to be able to tell you this here. And don't get me wrong, I thought about it
Mm.
for real. You dig? And I was at my weakest in my life. You dig? And
Mm.
that's when the enemy comes, when we're at our weakest in our life. You understand?
Yes. And
So,
as human beings, youngsters, we need to be
yeah.
a little bit more considerate of other people, because especially let's just take it to a schooling environment. You're in school with them for a couple hours a day, and you
More than
might
a
think,
couple.
well, you know what I'm saying, like 9 o'clock till 3 or whatever,
All day. You
but you
live with them.
think, that, like, you know them. You don't know what happens once the school gates close and they go home. They could have an abusive parent. They might not they
Sure.
couldn't have food on their table. They could be in a very sticky situation, and the stuff that you're doing within the schooling environment, the education field, is just fueling that. It's adding the extra barriers, the extra weight on the shoulders, to the point where, as you're saying, someone might contemplate just ending it, because at home it's crazy. I go to school and it's crazy. Wh- I can't bear anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. In my situation, home was not crazy. It was just school was crazy. And I was there all day long. And it was just terrible just being threatened all the time. You understand? Go to the bathroom. I was just tired of every bull person you just get tired of running. You know what I
Mm,
mean, champ?
hmm
You know?
hmm
And so that's what I wanted to share with anyone. It goes back to we all have a great gift. Don't let the enemy convince you to kill yourself and your gift.
hmm
You understand? Because
mm.
that's their job anyway,
Yes. Yes,
right?
everyone has a position, everybody has a role, and you've
Yeah,
got good and evil, and the
yeah,
evil slash the bad is
yeah,
job is to interrupt, to take you to those bad places. They look for the weak, they prey on the weak.
yeah.
So as a people, as a society, we need to try and make as less people, more people less weak, so there's less targets.
And that's where parents need self confidence class. If parents have self confidence class and self esteem class, and if they attended these classes at least twice a week, what they can do is trickle that down to their children, and then their children won't be bullies. You know what I mean? They won't develop bully kids, because
Mm,
that's the problem with bully kids. You understand? Parents are bullying them. They're being bullied. They're
mm,
not being shown any love at home. Because I know out of the people who bullied me, they didn't come from the type of blueprint that I come from. And when I see them today, some of them got 4 different kids by 4 different men. And
exactly.
they're super fat. All the ones that bullied me. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You
Mm,
understand? So it starts with their parents. Their parents learn self-confidence and self-esteem. So if they can pour that self-confidence, excuse me, and self-esteem into their children so that they can grow up to be better people in life.
yes.
You understand? Because once a bully, or anyone for that fact, is able to identify self-confidence, self-esteem, and they become disciplined, then they become better in better spirits.
Mm. 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
And also, as I alluded to earlier, if you are struggling with maybe thinking, oh well, I'm a parent, I'm fine, I don't need this. Put your child into some form of sports, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Greco-Roman wrestling, basketball, track. Get them to actually do something, to compete, to test themselves, to learn discipline, structure. Outside of
yes,
that, if you're not going to invest your time as a parent to say, look, do I need any additional skills? Would it better my life if I sought some potential parenting classes? What have I got to lose?
yeah,
For some little bit of
exactly.
time, maybe.
Yeah, it's important, and especially for our culture,
Hmm
um, because it's different. We had to find our way.
mm
Once we were free, they didn't give us anything, so we had to find our way and make a way out of nothing. You understand? So we already had to deal with all these different injustices, And then when we don't, last thing we want to do is bring our frustrations home to our children.
Mm,
And then most parents, mothers, I know I experienced it. I heard my mom say to my brother, "You ain't nothing, you ain't never gonna be nothing."
mm,
Parents should not say that to their children.
yeah. Words are power. Words have so much power, and at a young age
Exactly.
as well. Mm,
Yeah. Parents should not say that to their children. That's where self-confidence, esteem, something class parents need to have, and particularly our culture.
mhm,
You understand? Because so
mm,
many things were taken away from us,
mm.
and mainly self-confidence
Yes.
from our culture, mainly self-esteem
Mhm.
from our culture. Okay. So that's what I feel like we need as a culture.
Agreed. Agreed. Sis, it's been a epic, tremendous build. I could go another half hour, 40 minutes
I'm sure,
easily.
yeah, we can talk. I love it, Noble. Definitely. We gotta do
So,
this again, champ.
you know it. You took the words directly from my mouth, C Star. We're definitely gonna run this back and do a part two of this year when we got some bit more news as well, and we can
Yes,
go a little
yes,
bit
yes,
deeper.
yes, yes.
Because I haven't gone. I know there's a lot more to the story to tell, but I thought, we'll just give them a little ski taste for the moment.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
we,
yeah,
st- we still got some more stuff to unfold.
yeah.
Um, what is the best place for people to get in contact with you? Throw out all your social media and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we have Instagram, I am Fredia Cheeta Gibbs. We have Twitter, I am Fredia Cheeta Gibbs. We have YouTube, I am Fredia Cheeta Gibbs. I figured I'd just keep it real simple.
Easy
Oh, hey,
peasy.
Facebook, I am Fredia Cheeta Gibbs.
Oh, here we go. Keeping it simple. So one thing all across the board, I will make sure I put the link below. If you've
Thanks
just
a lot,
stumbled
champ.
across this remarkable young lady, please do check out. I'll see if I can put a link. Actually, I'll put a link down to the description to the to the video which I found. Um, I'll put all the social medias on. Click on follow the YouTube page, see and invest in the story and see what, um, not just for entertainment purposes, but see what lessons you can potentially learn from it. What can you grab from this? Because life is a big lesson. We
It
can
is.
learn from homeless people, we can learn from drunks, we can learn from lawyers, we can learn from absolutely everybody. And my
Absolutely.
challenge to people is try and gauge some form of knowledge from somebody, whatever it may be.
Noble, you know what? You're so right. Can I just say this one thing?
Hmm.
One of the things my mother used to always say to me is be careful how you treat people because you never know when you're being entertained by an angel.
Oh, yes. That's facts. That is facts right there. Like it's it's a universal principle. Do unto others as others are doing to you. You, as you
Uh-huh.
say, you don't know what that person, that being is.
That's right.
What
That homeless man just might be an angel.
sent there to test you.
You dig? That's right. He asked you for money for a reason.
Hmm.
You dig? It was designed that way. God
Hmm.
wants to know what your answer is going to be, how you going to respond to it. You dig?
Facts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, champ, it's been great.
Love it. Love it. Enjoyed the build. Please, if you
Peace.
do,
Love you.
if you enjoyed the content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and most definitely share.